Hello and welcome to the Archaeogaming Museum, where today we'll be doing a mini Archaeogaming Let's Play of the game Archaeology Simulator. Now this isn't necessarily the video I had planned to make today, but those of you who follow the Archaeogaming Museum on Twitter and Instagram may have seen a post I made yesterday about having been browsing the games on Steam when this game sort of jumped out at me and I felt that I had to do a video about it. Now, before we sort of jump in and go through the exact reasons why I feel that I need to make a video about this game, although based on the image that's currently on the screen, hopefully some of you will know why. So Archaeology Simulator is a game which is currently available on Steam, made by Archaeologist developers or publishers, and these appear maybe to be well, certainly an indie developer, but maybe this was done as a project or proof of concept game, as this appears to be the first game they've made. I can't find any other games made by them on Steam, or really any games made by them by doing research elsewhere. Well, basically, Google. So the game is currently available for 79 pence, and very much has a feel of a sort of a mobile phone game or Facebook game. It's very similar to games that are currently on the Google Play Android stores and iOS. And in essence, it is a children's puzzle game, education game maybe, certainly sort of how they're billing it. We'll come back to exactly how they sort of present the game on Steam in just a moment. But first of all, I want to talk about, my immediate thoughts and why I felt the need to do a video about this game. And hopefully you've guessed by the image and the fact that it's called Archaeology Simulator and it has a lot of pictures of dinosaurs. This image is taken from the loading screen for the game. And this still baffles me about the people getting archaeology and paleontology confused. I just don't understand it. I don't understand where the confusion comes from, really. If you know, or if you have been confused, then please let me know in the comments, because, there's no excuse really for getting archaeology and paleontology confused. And you might say, well, it's a kids' game. Does it really matter? Well, yes, it does, because if you introduce it to kids at a young age, this kind of idea will stick with them. So I've made a few edits to the original image. Basically just no dinosaurs. Archaeologists do not do dinosaurs. That is paleontology. Both are very interesting. Lots of archaeologists love dinosaurs and have favourite dinosaurs. They are professions that require very similar skill sets, but also require very specific expert knowledge. And yes, they do sort of cross over when you get into sort of paleoanthropology with sort of human evolution, the human fossil record, but they are not the same. Archaeologists don't do dinosaurs, paleontologists don't do human stuff. And it's not like archaeology and paleontology is difficult to find out what they are. If you just do a quick Google search for those terms, you get a definition. They're not the best definitions, but you search on Google for archaeology and it comes up with the study of human history and prehistory through the excavation of sites and analysis of artifacts and physical remains. It's quite a simple definition of archaeology, but, it's a good one. Nice and simple. Nowhere does it mention dinosaurs. Okay? Don't do dinosaurs. And again, if you Google paleontology, it comes up with the branch of science that is concerned with the fossils of animals and plants, and even shows you pictures of dinosaur skulls. So there you go. It's not difficult to find out. You just need to Google. Okay, mini rant over. Let's actually have a look at the game and how it sort of builds itself on Steam. So, Archaeology Simulator. Like a true explorer, look for the bones hidden underground to build the dinosaur skeleton. Like a true explorer, look for the bones hidden underground to build dinosaur skeletons. Children will enjoy the various game modes. The most appealing of all is definitely digging. They will learn about dinosaurs with puzzles and sound effects and can colour the characters using the magic brush. The game graphics are carefully designed and the game itself plenty of fun for your children and yourself. So, you know, some bad sort of grammar and sentence structure there. Well, grammar is sentence structure, but you know what I mean. So, the game sounds like it can be quite potentially a useful tool for people to learn about dinosaurs and learn about the process of excavation and digging, even with, you know, the issue with the name. So let's have a look at the game itself. So here is the loading page, obviously without my alterations. And you know, nice cartoony graphics. The soundtrack is quite nice. The only issue is you can either have sound on or off. No sort of volume control, no sort of intermediary on that, which is not necessarily ideal, but there we go. And also, but I think that these things wobble, it feels like you should be able to interact with them, but no, they're just sort of there. Now, the game doesn't really do much of a way of explaining or introduction. It just kind of jumps straight into it, which I think is a missed opportunity to talk about the art of paleontology and the science behind paleontology, and, you know, give a little bit more. Yes, it's supposed to be a children's game, but it does bill itself as a game to teach people about dinosaurs. So here you can see we've got our map. Quite a big map. Goes on quite a way. Looks very promising. So let's have a good scoot around. There we go. So let's check out the first level, the first bit. So here, you know, it's got some nice earth-coloured background, some tools that are quite useful in both excavation. To be fair, both for paleontologists and archaeologists. We've got some brushes, what looks like a sort of a chisel, and maybe a trowel, notebook, very important, and a compass. And it kind of gives you clues where to dig based on these sort of cracks in the ground, and with these sort of hints of coming up with a mattock. So let's start off and start digging. So it's sort of a very click-intensive game. You dig until you uncover, and then you store it just over there for when you've finished excavating all the skeleton. I mean, there's no written or voice-acted instructions, what might be quite nice. Again, explaining maybe that, you know, you have to be quite careful whilst digging to uncover, and maybe make use of some of these other tools, which might be quite nice. Make the digging a bit more, have a bit more substance to it. Okay, yeah, it is supposed to be a children's puzzle game, but, you know, adding a bit more gameplay in, I don't think would necessarily hurt. So just one more piece to find, and there it is. And there we have a skull. I haven't played these through a couple of times. They do actually have random generation here, which is quite nice. So they're not always going to be in the same place each time you play through. And now we've got to assemble it together. I mean, they show through sort of button hints, but again, it would be nice if there was some more voice-acted bits. It would be nice if there was some more explanation. And we've got our dinosaur, sort of a Diplodocus or something similar, but it doesn't tell you about it, which it sort of says in its description. You learn about dinosaurs, but it gives you no information. It just shows you a nice cartoon image, and it's a great little cartoon image, but it doesn't tell you anything about what you found. So that's slightly disappointing in my view. Ooh, underwater. Now actually here we have stuff in this in this sort of maritime excavation that would be considered archaeology, like this very cartoony style medieval Anglo-Saxony Viking style shield. We've also got a sheriff's star for some reason, and another sort of medieval knight's kite shield style thing down there. And if you were to click on these, which I completely failed to do, accidentally grab a fish. Let's just actually grab the star, because that's actually... Another thing I'd say is, there you go, we've grabbed one of the bones. It's not necessarily easy to get the exact line that you want, you know. So here we go, we captured something which probably is archaeology, and we just chuck it away. Which is, again, disappointing that we actually have archaeology here. Or what we would consider archaeology, golden horseshoe. Again, we're just going to chuck the sheriff's star away. Nope. Again, missed. There we go. So, yeah. They even include archaeology, but they don't look at it. So again, we've got to reassemble this sort of looks like a triceratops. But again, no information about it. It's nice that they include an underwater environment, which is quite nice. You know, things are found underwater, and it sort of changes up the pattern a little bit. And this is quite a nice feature as well. Here, what we're going to be doing is we're doing some cleaning and some sort of preparing the bones, which again is a nice feature that they've included. Or the fossil, or indeed fossil. You know, how do you treat the fossil, even if it's in a very basic format? Wonderful. That is a nice feature. And again, you know, mixes up the gameplay a little bit. It's not actually one of the dinosaurs we excavated, though. Which is interesting. It might have been nice to maybe incorporate that. Well, I mean, it does show off other dinosaurs, but as they're not actually telling us anything about them, really. And again, in brief, it might be say, you know, why do paleontologists do this? I mean, again, yes, it's a kid's game, but just little bits of information. Nope. That's the thing with the squirty bottle, you've got to be quite precise in your movements. And I don't particularly like the squeaky cloth sound of the polishing and sort of drying afterwards. There we go, get nice and... First wash. Clean off the slightly more ingrained deposits. There we go. And then that horrible squeegee sound. There we go. And the final bone the neck vertebrae. Scrub, scrub, scrub. A dinosaur in a tub. Squidgy, 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 squidgy. There we go. And then we get to put the skeleton back together. Kind of a random order. But there we are. And again, no information on actual what we dug. Or in that case, actually not what we didn't dig, what we cleaned. Conserved. Okay, so here we've kind of got a looking glass or porthole or something to look around. It looks like a cave. Again, quite nice. As a sort of different style point and click puzzle. Really big bat there. You know, quite a nice idea. Quite like that. Sort of has an idea that, you know, archaeologists and paleontologists are sort of detectives of the past. Archaeologists being the detectives of sort of the human past and human material remains, and paleontologists being, you know, the detectives of the deeper past. Fossil detectives. And again, we get to put together the fossil we made. Let's actually try and do this in some sensible order this time. Another happy looking chappy. But again, even if we try to click on this, nothing happens. We don't find anything else about the dinosaur. Not even the name. And this is when the next issue arises. The other levels are locked either behind video watch or by playing a minigame. But if we click on watch video, nothing happens at all. And if we click play minigame, the game just kind of crashes. So it's not possible to get beyond level 4. As soon as you get to level 5, the game just stops working, which is a real shame. I mean, this game was developed in December 2020 and hasn't been fixed yet. I mean, if it was just made as a project or first concept, maybe they just decided to stop working on it because they had what they needed from it, or if it was initially sourced via some kind of crowdfunding and they didn't get enough and they just kind of stopped developing on it and just put an incomplete game even on Steam just to try and recoup some of their money. But, you know, that is quite disappointing, and it's also disappointing if that maybe was the reason why. The most disappointing thing for me, other than the name, you know, mixing up archaeology and paleontology, although I don't understand why that happens, is the fact that it had potential and it sounded so promising from a description that it was going to be, you know, interactive, it was going to be informative, it's going to be educational, and basically what it is just a series of reasonably simple puzzles, although there's some nice things there, like the different areas that you excavate, just digging in dirt, underwater, in a cave. It has the cleaning part as well. Those are all really nice, and they sort of show different aspects of paleontology and where you might find fossils or jobs that paleontologists might be involved with, but it doesn't do anything more than that. And the fact that, you know, the game is broken, and, you know, it's that it's with that sort of, the levels are locked behind watching a video or playing a mini game. It's sort of, that's what made me really think, this really feels like a mobile game or Facebook game or something like that, rather than sort of a dedicated computer game as such. So, that's really all I have to say about the video. Again, the name is disappointing, but the mistake happens all the time. I still don't know why. If you know why, please let me know so we can help spread and educate people. Archaeologists don't do dinosaurs, and paleontologists don't do humans, apart from in paleoanthropology, but let's not get into that. And, it is a bit of a dud game. That's really, really disappointing. It sounded so promising on a very brief Steam description, and the fact that it costs money and it is essentially a game which doesn't work, it's not fulfilling what it's promising, So I'd say avoid. This is not a game I'd recommend. It did some things well. The cartoony graphics were great. The soundtrack was quite nice. The sound effects were, other than that squeegee on the bones when you're cleaning the fossils, those were all quite nice. And what is there does work well, even if it's quite simple and not what's promised. But, the fact that, it doesn't actually work, is very disappointing. So that's why I thought I'd have to talk about this game is, the constant confusion about archaeology and paleontology still baffles me. But that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell to find out when I'm uploading next, and go and follow the Archaeogaming Museum on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Until the next video, take care. Bye.